All right, we are covering 5.7, point slope formula, point slope. All right, so I'm going to write out what point slope it is. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And just as a review, this m is still and has always been and will be your slope. The new piece is this x1 and this y1, and that is your point that you're going to be putting in to plug into our equation. All right, so they ask you, the first part of this is just a graph. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little 4-quadrant graph. And they gave us a point. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and plot is that point 1, 1. I'm going to put a dot right there. And then they ask me to apply that slope of 3. Remember, if you have a slope that's a whole number, it's over top of 1. Since it's positive, I am going to rise. And then I'm going to run. So from the dot I previously plotted, from there I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1, put a new dot. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, and put a new dot, and over 1. Okay, you can build it backwards if you wanted to. You could go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and back 1, 1, 2, 3, and back 1. And you could have a bunch of dots on that graph for you. Okay, so again, plotting the point first and applying the slope. All right, let's try another one like that. So I'm going to make my 4-quadrant graph. All right, so first thing I am going to plot is my point 3, negative 2. So 1, 2, 3, and down to negative 2. There's my point. With my slope of negative 1 over 2, please remember that means I fall and then I run since it's negative. So from that point, I'm going to fall 1 and run 2. Fall 1 and run 2. I've run out of room, so now I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to rise 1 and go back 2. Rise 1, go back 2. And I can put a bunch of dots on there. And again, I can play connect the dots. All right, now, if they don't ask you to graph, and they would like you just to write an equation, again, we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to fill in my slope, and then I'm going to fill in my point. Okay, so this is going to read my x1 point, my y1 point. So I'm going to have y minus, and I'm supposed to put my y value in, so negative 2, is equal to, the m stands for my slope, my negative 4, and then I'm supposed to have x minus my x value. Now, like we've been talking about this chapter, if you see minus a negative like this, that means it's a plus. So I'm going to rewrite that so it reads y plus 2. I see that right over here as well, so I'm going to change that to a plus. So I'm going to rewrite this side as well, so it reads x plus 1 on the inside. All right, so we've plugged it into point slope. Now our goal is for it to read y equals when we're all said and done. So I'm going to distribute. That will give me negative 4x minus 4. I haven't changed anything about the left, so I'm leaving it alone. And my last piece, I'm going to minus 2, minus 2. So this gives me y equals negative 4x minus 6. Okay, so on this one, this example, you really have to be careful with your positive and negative signs, making sure that you put them in the right spot, that you've got your distributive property, and you're combining all your like terms. So again, this is sort of new, so let's try another one. Okay. I'm going to write my point slope formula right on the top so we don't forget. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And again, we got our slope, and then we're plugging in our point. Okay? So if I plug stuff in, I would have y minus, my y1 value is 1. My slope is 1/3. And I'm going to have x minus negative 3. Okay, I like to fix this right off the bat, so rewriting this, I'd have y minus 1 is equal to 1/3. That's going to read x plus 3. I'm going to use my distributive property, which will give me 1/3 x, and 1/3 times 3 is just 1. And then last but not least, we got to get that y by itself, so I'm going to add the 1, and this gives me y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Okay. Oh man, what if we start with 2 points? Again, if our formula is point slope, that means we need a point and we need a slope. Okay, so it sounds like I am missing the slope. So remember that when you find the slope, you got to take your y's and you got to minus them. So we got to go y's over x's. So we'd have 2 minus negative 4 over top of 3 minus 1. That's a plus sign, so we get 6 over top of 2. So I just found out my slope is 3. Now I have a slope. Now I have a point, so I can use point slope. Okay? So if I plug stuff in, I would have y minus negative 4 is equal to the slope I just found of 3, x minus 1. Okay? If you want to change this to a plus sign right off the bat, you are welcome to. I'm going to distribute on the right side. So I would have 3x minus 3. And last but not least, minus that 4 over, so you get it to read y equals. So y equals 3x minus 7. All right, this one's tricky again because we had the 2 points. So let's try one more that's like that. Okay? So again, because you're using point slope, you got to make sure you have a point and you got to have a slope. Okay? So first thing I'm going to do is find my slope, which is my y's over my x's. So I'd have 5 minus negative 7 over top of 0 minus 4. This guy's a plus, so it looks like I have 12 over top of negative 4. So my slope is negative 3. All right, I got a slope. I got a point. Let's plug stuff in. We are going to have y minus negative 7 is equal to my slope of negative 3 I found, and x minus 4. All right, this changes to a plus, so I really have y plus 7. I'm going to distribute on the right, giving me negative 3x, and then careful, a negative 3 times a negative 4 gives me positive 12. And then last but not least, get that y by itself, so minus the 7, we get y equals negative 3x plus 5.